Octax Committee to order. November 20th meeting. There, took care of number 1. Motion to approve the minutes from October 2nd Octax meeting. I know that was a long time ago, but... Hello. You guys hear me down there? Yeah. Matt? Kevin? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Was it something I said, or? Okay. Mike, you want to give us a quick rundown where we are here?
Good morning, everybody. As of November 5th this year, we collected $162,078 more than we did at the same time last year, which is an increase of 4.25%.
Good job. Keep it up.
We're also, and just as an informational thing, we talked last time about the county getting involved with trying to find an internet company to go out and find these short-term rentals. I've had a lot of conversations with a couple of companies. I've also talked to Joanne briefly about this, and we're going to try to get together and see if I only need specific data. She needs some other data, so we're going to try to see if we can incorporate that and get everything all done at once. The biggest obstacle we're having right now is trying to get it so that it's per town, per municipality, because a couple of the companies I've talked to break it down by zip code, which really won't work, because when you look at the southern half of Lake George, it's in the town of Queensbury, but that carries the Lake George zip code. And we have problems with that other places in the county. So it's a problem that they will be able to work out. It's just takes a little bit to figure out.
Great. Anybody have any questions, comments? Thank you, Michael.
All right, just and one quick thing, just to give you an idea. It looks like my part of it is going to run maybe $800 or $900 a year for one report, but that's not what Joanne is going to end up. So it's not going to be very expensive. And when I get it all together in the package, I want to bring it back and hopefully we stock tax money.
Great. Okay.
Questions?
Look forward to it. Okay, motion to adjourn. We have applications for our tax money. Have a lot of people here with familiar faces. We'll do a short presentation for the board as we review these applications. Do you have a list? You got any order you want to do them in, or you want to take them right off the top?
I'll do them in order.
Okay. Okay. Adirondack Festivals, LLC. Is anybody here for that? Is that you, Sasha? Yeah? Right down to the podium with a microphone, yep. You'd be our star witness. Hang on just 1 second before you... Okay, go.
All right, hi everybody, I'm Sasha Party. I'm the owner of Adirondack Festivals and Adirondack Winery. We put on the Adirondack Wine and Food Festival every year, which is why I'm here today. Thank you for having me on briefly. This year's festival is our 5th annual event. It's June 29th and 30th. It is always the last full weekend of June every year, and once again, it's planned at Festival Commons at Charles Park. So just briefly, the Adirondack Wine and Food Festival is all about celebrating New York wineries, breweries, distilleries, cideries, artists and food vendors. So we do food trucks as well. We have some culinary demos. And it's really a family-friendly event. It's a farmer's market style, so we encourage people to try what they buy, and they have been. So this year we are planning up to 120 vendors, which is growth over last year we had 90. So we do have growth plans there. Our beneficiary, once again this year, is Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Southern Adirondacks. They helped us last year with volunteering and getting the word out, and we'll plan to do that again this year. And last year we raised almost $11,000 for them, so it was their biggest fundraiser of the year. year, and we're happy to work with them again on that. Just quickly, I want to run over our room nights and economic impact. We conduct a survey at the end of the festival every year, and we get a really strong result from that, and we kind of extrapolate our data from there. So from that, we know that at last year's event, we had 6,400 attendees, and based on a $200 per person per day for an overnighter and $100 per person per day for a day tripper, we estimated our economic impact at $1.874 million. This year, our plan is to add about 1,000 attendees, and we would increase our attendance to around 7,300. With that, we would expect our room nights to be 4,486. That's based on double occupancy, which for an alcohol-focused event we feel is very reasonable knowing our attendees. And with the 200 per person per day for an overnighter and 100 per person per day for a day tripper, that would start economic spending for $2.1 million for the people that come to the festival. So we're pretty proud of that, and we hope that we can achieve that this year. Quick demographics, we think they're important to the area. Particularly, we bring a young demographic to this area. Our average age is 39 years old, which for Lake George, based on the BB&G 2016 survey, it was 51 to 56 was the average age of a tourist for Lake George. So we're bringing affluent people too. I think it's like 15% higher annual income is the average for a wine tourist as compared to an average Lake George tourist. Mostly they're female too, so we have about 77% of attendees are female, and you guys all know that they're the ones that make the buying decisions, so that's important. Household income, we have about, more than 50% are 75,000 or higher. So that's a good number too. And they're coming from quite far away, 27 states and Canada. Over 53% are 1 to 4 hour drive time, and 8% are over 4 hours away. So with that, we have requested $50,000 this year from occupancy tax money, and mostly that's because we want to add 1,000 people, and that's going to require more marketing, and the further out you have to reach, the more expensive the marketing dollars are. So we know that we're going to have to attract people that have not been interested in the festival before. So that's about it. I just want to thank you for even considering this, and each year we're very fortunate to receive what we can.
Just hang on 1 second. Mr. Beatty.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. You answered part of my question already. I was going to say, you want to add 1,000 people. That's a 15% increase from last year. So that additional dollars is going to go to a further reaching population to see if you can draw from further out.
Yeah, so, and I do have in the report a basic marketing plan. Each year we get smarter with our marketing, so with our survey we're asking people how did they think about the event, where did they make the decisions to come to the event, and so we build upon that each year, so we think that we do spend our dollars more efficiently, which is important, but it also gives us the knowledge to spend the new money in the right way. Really the best opportunity we have to grow the event this year is to get people to come on Sunday. So part of the way that we're going to have to do that is to change a little bit of our ticket pricing on the 2 days, in addition to marketing. And what I expect to see is that a lot of the locals will shift to the Sunday, leaving more people who want to travel from farther away to come on Saturday, which is for some reason the day that most people desire to attend. So really Sunday is where we have a lot of growth that we can do. To date, we do sell out the event on Saturday.
Ben?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had an opportunity to volunteer about 5 or 6 hours on Sunday. I think both days were rainy days. I also had a chance to talk to a lot of people. You just killed it on Sunday. I mean, I was told that a lot of people may have been on the beaches and out on the water if it had been good weather, but I don't believe that. I think they were having a great time.
Thank you.
It was well organized, plenty of volunteers and staff people, and talking up the region. I know there was a lot of vendors from Warren County.
Oh,
and-
absolutely.
And surrounding communities that do business in Warren County.
Yeah, we
So-
really look to local first, absolutely, and I mean, so much of our marketing is just to focus on the beauty of Lake George, and the reason that you want to come to the festival is not just because of the festival, but because it's in Lake George Village, and all the things that you can do surrounding it, and, I mean, we just drive that home over and over again.
Doug?
Thank you. I like the way you supply the data. It's in-depth, far-reaching, and this is you, and I know Doug Miller over at the Dome and a few other ones, really give us better understanding of what the impact is, and because of how you collect the data from your event.
Mhm.
And it makes it easier to, at least from my perspective, to evaluate whether more money is needed or not, and so forth and so on. So I appreciate the work you did in putting together this data. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the survey is very important, and every year we add a few questions to it. I'm fortunate in that I can motivate people with wine. So I'm sure we get, at least 500 to 600 results from the festival, and that keeps growing every year. So, but I think the survey is just something that every event should have to do, and there's certain questions that should be asked.
Well, Mike?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Although I'm not on the committee, I'd like to share my experience. I was there every minute of the event. My wife and I had some things that we were offering to the public, and I can attest that it was a happy crowd. It was a rainy weekend, and there were many people from out of the area. I engaged with many of the attendees, and I thought it was a great event, and I'm looking forward to participating again this year. But there are many people that come from out of town, Canada, western part of New York State, so just wanted to kind of give you that feedback.
Great. Hawking your pottery, were you?
Yes, I was.
Beautiful.
Anybody else?
We got it to 0.6%.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Sasha. We're going to interview all the people that are here first, and then we'll move on to deciding what we're going to do. So, thank you, Sasha. Adirondack Hot Air Balloon Festival. Going once, going twice. Adirondack Sports Complex. Doug?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chairman, for allowing us to have a few minutes to speak here. Following along with Sasha's information, we have data on all of our events too. We work well with our partner hotels in capturing that data and more importantly, verifying that data. We get from each of the teams their hotel that they're at, have to use one of our partner hotels, they have to be in Warren County, and they have to provide us with the number of rooms they have, the number of nights they have, and we corroborate that with the hotels at the end of each event. Last year, each year right now, we're right around 14,000 bed nights for just the softball tournaments in the winter. It's 16 to 18 tournaments. It varies slightly because of where New Year's Eve falls. Trying to run a tournament, we tried to do it one year with New Year's Eve being Saturday night, but the request has been for 40,000, and I think the last couple of years the board has graciously given us that. We appreciate that. We're pulling teams from Maine to Delaware, Long Island, Buffalo, and Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and everywhere in between in Canada. Canadian teams, it's been a bit of a struggle the last couple of years because of the exchange rate. And when you bring a whole team in, and tournament fee is up 20-30% because of the exchange rate, that's making it difficult for some of the parents. We've experienced that. We've been able to backfill those spots that those teams have taken in the past with other teams. Constantly marketing, trying to get new teams on board. One of the struggles we have, it's not just a repeating engine where it's going to keep doing the same thing year in, year out, because many of the teams are coached by coaches that move up with their child as their child ages out. We got to find those new coaches who are coming in with the younger kids and the 10 and unders and 12 and unders. And I'm sure every event here struggles with that same thing. You'll move in, age out, move in or move out and don't come back. Not because they don't like the event, it's because it's no longer under bailiwick. So that's one of our constant struggles is making sure we get those younger age groups and are feeding the upper age groups with them. So, questions on the softball tournaments?
Doug?
14,000 head nights.
Yes.
I don't know of any other event that brings that many. Maybe you know the Mr. Dutcher and the Mayor Tate, but 14,000 bed nights.
One of the things that's, if you look at the county, in the winter months we run around 6,000 to 7,000 hotel rooms available. That's it in the county. Summertime it's now with the Marriott and a couple other additions, it's now a little over 10,000 if I'm not mistaken. We could probably get that number better than 10. Somewhere on that? Yeah. Close to 9, okay. The thing that we do, unlike the balloon festival, some of the events that it's one weekend and you're bringing the mass number of people in one weekend, there's a lot of county support with police and the DPW and that sort of. We're just running in the background, weekend after weekend after weekend. So it's a little bit each weekend, which continually drives, it's driving an economic engine for 16, 18 tournament weekends.
Yeah, I'm actually
That's how we
surprised.
get those kind of numbers.
Yeah, I mean, you spread it out. You don't use the police and so forth. I mean, because of the type of event you have at the Dome. I'm surprised you didn't ask for 50,000. That's our max.
Don't give me any ideas, Doug.
Can I see my application?
Yeah, I mean, seriously though, I mean, if we're really about driving heads and beds, 14,000 heads and beds, I don't know how you get better than that, but maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
The 40 is what we need.
Okay.
Now, on that note, any other questions? I'll follow up. I'll have a follow-up to your question in a moment.
That's all I got.
Mike? Nothing?
There's no other question. I'll just make one. We are also in the very tailing end of negotiations with zero gravity basketball out of Boston, Massachusetts, to bring in a minimum right now of 7 years, 16 basketball tournaments starting in March. Our softball tournaments, because I can run 2 fields in the dome at a time for the winter tournaments. And I don't ask for any octax money for our summer softball tournament. I'll back up for just a second. We also run 12 summer and fall softball tournaments that I don't ask for any bid tax money for. And we're bringing just as many teams for those and putting just as many heads and beds for those tournaments. Our overhead is less because I'm not in the dome and I'm not trying to get people to come kind of what's out of season. But we're getting 40,000. We're really spreading that. We really want to look at. We're spreading that over almost 32 tournaments a year. We have, in those tournaments, we run typically 16 to 18 teams in a tournament. We have the opportunity next summer start with zero gravity basketball in the dome. We can put 10 basketball courts. So we go from 2 games, 4 teams competing at a time, to 20 teams competing at a time, every single hour. They're looking at bringing in between 100, they're telling me 130 teams. I'm being conservative. I'm saying probably between 100 and 125 teams a weekend, per weekend. The percentage, right now our softball tournaments run about 70 to 80% out of town teams. The basketball tournaments will not have that percentage of out of town teams. Their historical data, and I've gone through it all, they've given me their economic impact. And they're showing 25% out-of-town teams being conservative. I've gone through their data, and their data consistently is between 32 and 35% out-of-town teams. The economic impact for our softball tournaments, each of the last 2 years have been just under $3 million, 2.8, 2.9 million, using the same number Sasha's using that we get from the county. The basketball, we can pull all this together. The basketball impact is looking at between 8.9 million and 9.7 million a year. We need to purchase the courts, we need to, in order to purchase the courts, we need $1 million. We've got about 3/4 of that money pretty closely in hand. We're still short about $250,000 to $300,000. I don't have an official request in to the board. We have spoken to Mr. Dickinson, Mr. Conover, and a few other board members, and any support that we can garner in that respect would be very helpful. In order to make this happen for 2019, we pretty much have to have a commitment to the court manufacturers by early December. I just wanted to put that out there.
I mean, like next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Week after next, yeah.
Doug, you said you're going to add, you said the out-of-town team, first of all, you said 125 teams per weekend, and then 32 to 35% are out-of-town teams, okay, which is very good. So if you're doing 14,000 bed nights a year now, you're a very detailed guy.
Basketball tournament will do about 16,000 to 18,000.
Well, that's where I was going to ask that question. So you're anticipating, let me get this straight, you're anticipating if all comes together, you get the courts, they sign the contract, 7-year contract, maybe longer, you're anticipating 16,000 to 18,000 additional bed nights?
Yes.
Jeez. Okay, that's humongous. I you know, if that's accurate, and I have no reason to believe that's not.
And it's huge. The one thing that would happen with this is they're pretty much marketing the event, running tournaments. If we can get some OCTAC support, this is not something that, because I'm basically just providing the space to them. I won't need to come back year after year for OCTAC wants to do basketball tournaments.
And will
This would be more of a one-shot deal.
one shot Charlie, and will this also have with zero gravity the mandate that they stay in hotel rooms here in Warren County?
Yes.
Oh.
One other point that I should mention too is the fact that our shoulder seasons are March, April, May, mid-June. That's exactly the time frame that they're doing the basketball tournaments. They're coming in weekend we get on with the boat show. We've moved the boat show up a week this year to Zero Gravity wants to start the weekend of March 22nd. I've moved the boat show up from the last week in March to the weekend of March 22nd. I said, I just can't squeeze the boat show out. This year I can't. Eventually next year we'll move them a week earlier. Zero Gravity wants to start that weekend and they want to go race their trip to the second week in June. Then they come back in September and October and go again, another shoulder season.
Is March our slowest month from a tourist standpoint in the county?
Probably.
Is it? So March, being the slowest month, they're going to come in halfway through March, and up to 16 to 18,000 additional bed nights through March, April, May, and June. That's
Sounds like it's PR meeting.
And a
I get a little something for PR.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just
and
saying.
their growth, Zero Gravity's growth, they have just about doubled their growth every 2 years for the last 4 years. And their intention is they've given me the dates, the firm dates for the next 7 years, and with the intention of adding on to those, particularly in the September, October timeframe.
Thanks. I'm done.
You're sure?
Can I see a check in the mail?
Yeah. Did he meet his contract, Doug, or? Anybody have anything else? Yes, Peter.
No, I just want to echo what Doug said. Very exciting, Doug, what you just proposed. And when do you think you'll definitively have an answer, one way or the other?
When I can pull in this last $250,000.
If you get the $250,000...
If I can have that committed today, we'd be in contract this afternoon. That's how close we are. We're working with another lender, we're working with the EDC, the LDC, and we're working with leasing company. And our own, we've got a 25% of our own fund.
Okay, great, thank you, Doug. Albany Rods and Customs. Okay. Americade.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Christian?
Put a personal plug into the two events that preceded. Okay, your presentations are always impressive. It's not as huge. The Wine Fest is a great festival. I've been there twice now. I'm not here alone. I'm here with Sherry, Nora, and Stacy. We have a few other people, or we have one other person at home nursing up for this, but this represents Americade. Americade, everybody's reasonably familiar with Americade. Week-long motorcycle event, taking all sorts of traffic congestion for everybody here. I apologize.
I wasn't a bit taken talking about DPW and resource loading.
Barricade is an unusual event. It's an event that happens early in the season, typically prior to the normal summer season. It lasts a week long. We have thousands of attendees who arrive to pick up their registration materials on Monday of the Barricade, which means that given that 95% of our attendees live more than an hour away from the area, some internationally, that means that they've been staying in a hotel starting Sunday night. The occupancy naturally builds as the week progresses, and they are the following Sunday. So we're a particularly long duration, early season event. In an email that I sent, that I apologize for John this morning, I said that we are the only event that returns a positive ROI on the funds allocated. That's probably not correct. I mean, this from Doug's presentation. We are probably one of the very few who provide a positive return on investment for the allocation that the board has made in years past. I want to say that regardless of whatever decisions made today, we genuinely, sincerely appreciate whatever support you have provided and provide. In 2008, the motorcycle industry went through a major contraction that's been going on for years. While we have continued to soldier on remarkably strongly compared to other motorcycle events that are out there, the tools that we're working with are far less industry support financially. Our office is much smaller than it has historically ever been, but we are a lean motorcycle rally machine. I wanted to throw out a couple of statistics that are, or a couple of data points that are notable. One is we don't track the hotel info like Sasha and Doug do. It's such a region-wide event. We don't have particular partner hotels. It's the region that we send our attendance to the entire region. So I could always defer to the county of Joanne regarding those statistics. Our demographic is historically has been an older demographic, but in the past 10 years we have been doing a lot internally. What we present to the public to drive our average age down. So our average age used to be up to mid-50s. It's actually now just about to go below 50, which is a significant shift in the past 10 years. The way in which we do that is we offer a lot of events that appeal to a younger rider, ideally a younger couple, looking for a weekend vacation. So it's not only about motorcycling, it's like people off rafting, and zip lining, and all sorts of activities that might appeal to different demographics. It's working. And our objective in the next few years is to continue to grow. We have a short-term objective to grow the event a certain percentage and drive down that average age a certain percentage. This past year the Americade 2018 is a particularly notable Americade. We made more big changes to Americade in 2018 than we've made in the past 4 years. It's difficult to remain fresh and recraft yourself after being around for 37 years. So we did some significant things this past year, which people largely loved. We moved our expo, we changed the format of our expo, changed our entertainment, we block party. We launched for the first time ever a Ride for Kids parade, a ride/parade starting West Falls in Lake George, which is a ride that benefits entirely 100% of the pediatric range. That alone, we engage in lots of charitable activity every year. That alone in its first year raised about $15,000, and we have very high hopes for it. It's coming to West Falls. It's very excited about really wrapping their arms around who started it, and the motorcycling community continue learning about it. I don't think it'll double, but I think it'll close to double in the second year and in 2 years. And just continue to grow. So I think it's going to be a signature event of America.
Okay.
I sent an email earlier that has a lot of information in it.
Great.
All of it. But happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions for Christian? Doug?
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking at your breakdown on where they come from Arcade, and obviously New York State. The, everything between Little Lake, 32% approximately. So, what's your game plan to draw from, obviously you're doing well in New York State, and that's, you want to continue that, but do you have a game plan on how to draw, you know, maybe more from Massachusetts, New Jersey? I see them up there. Jersey's 9%, Massachusetts 7%, but is there, you know, to me, that's an opportunity. Those numbers maybe could be enhanced.
I agree. So that percentage of New York State is largely the New York City area. While New York City is obviously enormously overperformed, disproportionately performed as far as providing visitors to America during America. And so I always look at Boston. Boston is, whatever it is, 1/3 the size of New York City, but they're less than 1/3 the percentage of people to draw. So the way in which we market ourselves, we have very deep relationships, and usually deep relationships with the magazines that matter to this market. So there are a handful of magazines that speak very much to this demographic, touring and cruising. And they love our event. They see our event as particularly unusual and a great way to get subscribers, which lends itself to having a very good relationship with them. So we do a number of marketing endeavors with them, not just straight up advertising, both print and digital, but also deeper ones where we collaborate on initiatives, various initiatives. We have a very strong social marketing program. So it's primarily through Facebook, but also through Google. We actually work, we're unusual now, we're a small company, but we work directly with a representative at Google to improve our digital marketing campaigns. We have a lot of digital marketing campaigns that are out there. And the footprint in which we advertise is I can sort of categorize it in three ways. One is the likely day tripper, or the likely person who lives within a 1 day's drive. That translates to a multi-night stay, but typically somebody won't ride more than 7 or 8 hours a day. So if you draw a line around Lake George, that is a market that we focus very heavily on. But we also market nationally, so those magazines are national magazines. And so the first category is within about a 7 or 8 hour drive. The next category is within about a 2 days drive, and then it's everybody else. We do, not that it's a significant focus of us, Canada side, but we do draw internationally. We draw people from Chile and Czech Republic last year, and I think Ireland. So it's a known big thing, but that Canada aside, we don't focus on the overseas market too much. It's really the lowest hanging fruit for people within about a 250-mile drive. And actually, I want to say one thing, this is very, very important. The people who attend America, when we survey those people, they are here explicitly for the reason of America. It's not as though we happen to coincide with a trip up to the area and then we happen to interview them. We say, oh, this is nice, and we check them off as, here drawn because of us. They explicitly say, we're here because of America. That's particularly important.
Anybody else? Mike?
Chairman, thank you. You know, we have a conference coming up this year that Gina and her team are setting up, this ADA conference, the Adventure Travel. You know, I kind of think of riding motorcycles a little bit adventurous, right? I'm wondering if there's some kind of coordination that we can do to get this event as part of, maybe the display or whatever that's happening at the ADA conference. Some cross promotion.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting idea. Yeah, because I think to myself, okay, to attract those younger riders, I need to roll out this package of adventure, things that appeal to that adventure personality. So there is a dovetailing.
Anybody else? Thank you, Christian.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Nora?
Thank you.
Okay. Warren County Safe Bicycling, is anybody here? Okay. Next, Warrensburg Bike Rally. Okay. Warrensburg Chamber of Commerce. How am I doing? Lake George Winter Carnival. Greater Glens Falls Amateur Athletic Championship Association. Bingo, bango, bungo. Did I miss anybody? Okay. Do we want to do these now? Do we want to go through these and...
In the past.
So you want to finish the calendar before we do that, or?
Yeah, fine, whatever.
Okay. I've been told I was going to go into executive session. I'd like to finish our agenda and then we'll go back to that. We're going to go in executive session, discuss the applications we have. Before I do that, I'd like to finish the meeting, and so we got Resolution 238 from 2014. What is that?
Originally, the criteria for the occupancy tax scoring system was put together in 2006. So it's very old, or it originated several years ago. It was updated in 2014. I don't know what everyone's feeling is about it, but I did score the applications myself, and I find this is outdated. I don't think we have any, for instance, economic impact for 20 million plus. So I believe that we either need to revise this or delete it, and maybe because of the way we've done things in the last couple of years, so we're just sponsoring the larger events, perhaps we want different criteria going forward as to who we award and who we don't.
I think what I'd like everybody to do is, we have applications with the present current outline. I think as we go through them in executive session, I'll give you all an opportunity to see how valid they are and some of the shortcomings. And I think after that meeting, at our next meeting, I would like to sit down and discuss revising this, bringing it up to date, and all of these applications will be current in everyone's mind, and maybe we can make some progress with it. So keep that in mind as we go through the applications. It's definitely something we need to do. Do they all have a copy of that? Okay. We're going to look at the spending plan for OCTAC. For Warren County?
Warren County project.
Oh, okay.
I'll go back and check my files.
Other than that.
Yeah.
Okay, no. You all have the spending plan, page 202 in your packet?
Yeah.
So Lake George got 150,000 combined town and village allocations. That's been the same for a couple of years. Bolton is 60,000, Queensbury 60,000. Towns and City of Glens Falls 135, 15 each of the 8 remaining towns plus the City of Glens Falls. County Tourism Convention is 250,000 this year. County event funding, we have a line item, right, for the, like
193,000.
That's separate.
That's separate? Okay. And the Convention and Visitors Bureau is 400,000. and that's by contract.
I didn't put a figure in there because we haven't done the workshop.
Okay. Got it. There's no number in that line because whatever is in there is based on what we're going to get for awards. So until we do that, we won't be able to put that number in there. So if you go to page 1, this is a proposed resolution. Somebody'd like to bring it to the floor? Don't all start at once. Anybody want to make that motion? Matt? Kevin, is that you? Kevin? Okay. Any questions? Comments? Mike?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. As an at-large supervisor, I don't have the same responsibility and obligations that our town supervisors have. And as such, I take a look at the you guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Occupancy tax dollars a little differently. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw something in one of the last meetings that rolled up to over $1 million that get distributed to the town of Bolton, town of Lake George, the village of Lake George, and the town of Queensbury. It's part of the allocation of the overall funds that are collected. And this looks like it's an addition to that $1 million going to a few other towns. And I question whether or not we're doing the right thing with the occupancy tax dollars and whether we're taking a short-term, overly local look at it instead of the big picture look in terms of what we should be doing. So what I'd like to propose is that we maybe take a look at some of these dollars, maybe reduce that $1 million allocation by 10%. That would give us $100,000 to do some advanced infrastructure work or something to the effect that's going to be a major play for the region and the county. Just a suggestion, but I'm curious. One of the answers I'm looking for is this an addition to that $1 million, the allocation of the 25%? I think that the formula is 25% of the occupancy tax collected goes to the towns.
Correct.
Right? This is an addition to that 25%?
Correct.
So it's a lot of money going to the towns.
The town...
Our local, bear with me though, but our local, locally dedicated to whatever the towns feel are most important for their individual tourism. But I'm thinking we're missing the boat on some of the big picture plays that we can do.
Mike, when I took chairmanship of this committee, I did a lot of things, one of which is try to draw all the community business people together. We've had meetings with 30 or more business people to discuss that exact same thing, where our OCC tax dollars are being spent and where they should be spent. And basically what we're doing with our OCC tax money is good. And then the balance of that generates a tremendous amount of discussion. Occupancy tax money is collected from hoteliers and moteliers. It is for promotion and events. The events are a way of bringing people here that wouldn't normally come. Americade, the wine festival. You have these events, people come, spend money, stay. And it's divvied up in different ways. One of the issues we have is occupancy tax, over 50% of it is generated in Lake George Bolton. Right off the top. Now that's the town and village in town of Bolton. Queensbury is a partner in that. They're almost as much as Lake George, and between those three towns generate over 90% of your OCC tax. So the feeling on some people's part is that's your golden goose. They get preferential treatment. Now the other side of that is that OCC tax money is shared with everybody. Every single town in Warren County gets OCC tax money. Thurman, Stony Creek, Johnsburg, they all get OCTAX money. Some of the business people ask you, why? You know, why are you spending OCTAX money in Thurman, Stony Creek, these outlying areas? The answer is we're all in this together. You know, and we have the money there, and there's no reason not to give Thurman and Stony Creek and all the outlying towns money. They all have events. Thurman has their farm visitation days, a big event, very successful. So Stony Creek came in last year with a great proposal for trails and riding trails, and that's what this is about. Take the money, invest it in something, and see if we can get more people here. Town and Village got an additional $150,000. At the mayor's suggestion, we formed a joint committee, mayor and I, the town and the village, and we together divvy up the $150,000. The town gets close to $200,000 in our tax, beyond the 75 that we get that we put in the joint thing. We have a lot of obligations. We have a lot of obligations that are tourist oriented. We spend $80,000 a year for lifeguards. Now granted, one of our beaches is quasi-private, but by and large, it's the public that we're servicing with these people. We have maintenance, we have flowers and plantings. These are all very expensive items and are directed primarily to the tourists. To keep them coming back, you got to keep the place fresh and clean. So that affects the distribution, Mike. We do have some monies in this budget that are unallocated monies in a fund. They're available for new events. They're available for small towns to come in and say, hey, that's somebody who wants to do a special weekend. Do you have any money? Yeah, we have a little money. So we do have additional monies in there for the other towns in the city. But basically, that's the issue. Now, one of the primary things that we've done and with the business people is they want to have more say in how OCTAX money is spent, which seems reasonable. They're generating it. So what we've done is we have shored up the CVB under Gina's guidance. Last year we gave them $300,000 and we gave them a performance contract. We said, you need to perform in order to qualify for this money again. And they've more than outdone themselves in this last year. They've done so many things, it'd be difficult to list them all, but one of the things they did is they invested in a computer program that is supposed to be able to generate facts and figures on all the events we do to see how well they do. And we share that with the tourism department so that it's available. It's a great tool for looking at these projects. And this year, based on their success, we have bumped them up to $400,000. They have gotten to the point where they need some help. They're working closely with the tourism department. They've been a great help to them, but they are successful enough that they need somebody to follow up on these things and make sure they're done. So we've given them $400,000. They're now talking about making the CVB a little more independent. And eventually the hope is that the CVB will be an entity unto itself, have a board of directors, and will be a key player here in the tourism. So that's where we are.
It's a long answer, Dennis. You gave me a lot to comment on, but thank you very much. But I'm not disputing that the towns should get some money. I'm thinking that the fact that there's a windfall this year of at least $160,000 that we should do something differently with. I'm not disputing the CBB. And one of the things that I asked very early on was accountability of that organization so that they could report and justify the expenses. And I think that's the way we should go. I think that's the way we should go with every town that gets the money for this. I know that there's local boards. Some towns have local boards that look at how they allocate and how they justify this money within their towns. But there's no real oversight at the county. And I understand that there's going to be times when we take bets and we make a long putt. Maybe this is something that could work and won't work. But I still think we need some accountability. It's $4 million. It's a lot of money.
It is.
You know, we've had some great presentations here that they're justified in terms of getting some money from occupancy tax. I'm looking for a little more accountability. It's a lot of money, which is basically something that we're able to invest. You mentioned it's a cookie jar, right? One of the last meetings that we had. I still think that there's opportunities here where we can do some scoring, some advanced scoring, not auditing. I know auditing is really expensive, but I think we need to take a look at this and say who's performed, who hasn't performed, what do we need to do differently, and oh, by the way, where's that pot of money that we can make some big bets on? Maybe it's to help the dome. I don't know if we can do that with that pot of money. But I really believe that we need to be doing some more big picture, long-term type of investments. And I just hope that the board and the committee can consider that.
Sounds like you've been talking to Dave Kenny. That definitely is something. The other thing I should mention is we do have money available. If something comes along that is a home run, there are more monies available that aren't dedicated to anything. So it is a possibility. There's a possibility we could do something with Doug. I don't know yet. I'm not quite sure what he's after. And I agree with you. If you can think of something that would be beneficial as far as OCTAX and the spending of it, I'd be more than happy to consider it and move it on. Absolutely, Mike. Fred.
Don't drink my coffee. Fred Oster, Four-Way Battery Corporation, Velma, and also a longtime member of our group of tours and people in businesses that have met any number of good people. The key is return on investment, which is what you're saying. Okay, why in the world are we giving big bucks to the little village of Lake George so they can have a stage on their park? Well, the fact is, that stage is on a tractor-trailer basis and will be available to the city of Glens Falls or anybody else that has a legitimate need for it. They don't have to pay to have it hauled down by the county and brought back. But an awful lot of the complaints about the village, the town of Lake George, Bolton, Queensbury, why are they getting all this money? Well, the engine that runs tourism in Warren County is that area, 90%. Who's spending the money? Who's putting in the investment in all the things that are needed to make it work? People in the county up there that pay big taxes on their own. And I feel before we say they're getting too much money, they're getting all the money, take a look at who's spending the money, who's put up the investment to make this engine run.
Thank you, Fred. Claudia?
Good Chairman. Just to Supervisor Wiles' point, we do ask for data from each of the entities that, and I know I missed the presentations, but I do believe that each of those entities have given their reports based on last year's use of the OCTAX money. So there is some objective data out there that we can look at. And I know that I did ask for information from the CBD about results over the last year having the $300,000. So I would like, I know I just recently asked that, so I would still like to see that information to justify the additional $100,000 that we're giving them. And I think you guys already have it, it's just a matter of you're having it, pulling it together into something.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Great.
Okay. We have a resolution on the table. Anybody have any other comments, questions? Claude?
Could we, someone explain about the Warrensburg bike rally, money?
You don't want me to do that. Kevin, you want to respond to that?
Fine, what?
She asked about the Warrensburg bike rally.
About it? The big increase. Oh, I didn't make the application out, so I will call Mr. Nibro and ask him why he asked for the increase.
Do you have a specific question, Claudia, or you just want to know?
Well, I'd like to know why we're increasing it by 34,000.
We're not.
doing anything.
We're not doing anything.
No.
That is simply their application?
That's
Yes.
what they requested, not what we've given.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll get to that.
We haven't talked about any before.
No.
I thought that was in the resolution.
No. This resolution is for the overall,
Maybe we ought to bounce back. Are you talking about this resolution, Dan?
yes,
This is just to keep the thing the same as last year?
Yes.
Except for adding $100,000 to the visitors fee.
absolutely.
Already
All
vetted.
right, I'm
Yep.
looking at it online and it looks like it's part of the resolution. I apologize.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Any further comments, questions, accusations? I'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Okay. I lost my agenda. I think at this point in time, we'll go into executive session, if somebody would make that motion.
We have to state a reason, Chair.
Edna, second? Hello?
Executive session.
Second, don't tell me, Ben. Any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
We have to state a reason.
Yeah, what's the reason for
It's
executive session?
matters leading to the promotion of a particular corporation.
Every year this is done in open session, then why are we
Well,
doing
yeah.
that?
No, the discussions are usually not in open.
They have been in open session?
No, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
The presentations are open session, and then we go into closed session, and then we go back in open session.
That's not accurate.
Well, that's true.
No, it's not. That's not their fault.
Fair vote. That's we voted in favor. Yes.
Where are we?
I guess we're not.
Did we vote on that?
Mr. Chairman, what's the basis for the executive session?
Oh, we haven't voted yet. Okay. Session?
Yeah, it's for the discuss the award, how much each entity we're discussing.
I'll tell you, all the articles I wrote about that exact question over the years, I stuck that into executive session.
The awards are discussed in the committee, and then it's reconvened to give out the amount of awards for the public.
You'd have a little workshop session in the middle where it wasn't really, on the record or whatever, but it was open to the public.
And we've all attended, and there's people who have attended.
Not in that executive session.
Session?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something, as you mentioned scoring and going into the executive session, that I want to point out and have you guys think about. I'm on the board of the Lake George Chamber and CBB, and you mentioned that they have the data tool for events.
Right.
And I just want to caution you, if you do discuss that in executive session, my experience so far, and I know that it's something that you've been working on and it's not 100% finalized, but one shortcoming I noticed is that it didn't, like our event, for example, is a 2-day event, but we know from our survey that people are staying 14 days in some cases. And I know that that's a person I brought here, and they're spending money for those 14 days. But I think that the way that that tool works is it really only considers the 2 days of
Correct.
the event. So I just wanted to put that out there for you to consider.
Your application will far outshine that little tool there. Session, not to worry. Doug?
Just regarding the executive session piece, I'll agree with Mr. Lehman that I know last year after the meeting, after the presentations, then the committee met in here, and I was able to sit in here along with others, and that was executives, what you wanted to call executive session, because one of the things I was able to bring to light was there was an error in the scoring on my own application on the spreadsheet that was used last year, and I was able to make a comment to have that corrected. So that wasn't executive session.
Okay, thank you, Doug.
I don't have a problem staying in open session. I mean, if, you know, I don't know about the committee, but.
Well, can somebody tell me what we're gonna do?
We got a motion on the floor to go into executive session with a second.
Yeah, but I mean, what are we doing? Are we gonna go through each event?
We're going to go through each event that we have submitted and
I don't care, but I mean,
I'll withdraw my second. I thought it was, you know, protocol being the new person.
Well.
So.
I don't mind. I mean, I've done my score. I didn't do mine.
so the feeling of the board is we want to keep it in
I don't
open?
think most people did their homework. I think you ought to put them in the woodshed. How many of you have brought your scoring sheets all made out?
Good. There you go.
Oh, I get an A. Where's yours, Doug?
Let me, trust me, I got the scoring in my mind,
Okay.
exactly how I want to roll.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You're a good boy. Whatever you want to do, guys. I don't care. I'm on it. Either way.
Let's just get started either way.
Yeah, we'll be way behind. Supposed to give us lunch today. I don't know why he was the only.
All right, we've got a couple questions here, issues.
All of it.
Go ahead.
Do we want to review these applications now, or do we want to table them?
11.
Let's review them. We're here.
Okay? Is that consensus of the board? Okay.
People on the committee, do you want to review them, or what do you want to do? You want to make them wait? Let's do it.
Okay.
Can you,
Well, let's do it
who's
in,
going to scribe? Okay.
let's do it in a workshop fashion.
Okay.
The board can discuss them, the public is not involved in the discussions, unless you have a question of the applicant or the applicant's representative, and we'll go down through them in the order that we had them present. Does anybody need a break before we get started, or?
Mr. Chairman, sir?
Besides me, yes, Gene.
We got almost $305,000 worth of requests on this. How much do we have to spend?
We budgeted $193,000.
That's what's budgeted, right, $190,000?
Correct, based on what the awards were last year. We have an additional $75,000 in a discretionary fund.
About $250,000, $260 to spend. Okay.
Well, you do, Gene, but you really need a discretionary fund, you know. Year's a long time. Somebody could come up with something that we really want to support, so you want to be careful about doing that. It is available. So what was the total of the applications?
About 305,000. Yeah, it's 309 or something.
That's about right. Actually, it's a little less. Usually about twice what we have, but... Okay. They both are 305.
Just start at the bottom and work up, or you're going to start?
Adirondack Festivals, sashes. She has, what'd you get last year?
10,000 last year. I believe you 50,000, you wanted a combined amount from Warren County.
Combined amount, so we got 10 from Warren County, 15 from the Town Lake George Combined Fund, and 10 from the Lake George Village Fund. So that's like 45,000.
I'd be fine.
I'm sorry.
They got a combined 35,000 last year.
Yeah, but from this group, only 10.
They got 10 from that, 15 from buying 10 from
Right, but now they want 50 from us.
Well,
then it's
they're-
total- what our
No,
total
I think that's deceiving. She's
Well, yeah, 'cause that's what it looks like.
It's hard to
She's
say, like,
asking
how to
15,000.
describe it, because you come to this group first, and then you have to also put in your application. So I do explain it in my application, but like, our total need is 50.
He didn't do his homework. Okay.
So 35 is what we got last year.
Right, so just the 50, you're not asking for 50 from us
I'm not
right
asking
now,
for 50
period.
plus, I'm asking for 50 total, I don't care where I get it.
Right, okay, but you're getting from other towns last year, see, that's what should be
Right.
in here.
It
But
is
this-
in there.
And when I looked at it and read the application,
Footnoted.
they're jumping from 10,000
Where
to
was it?
50,000, that's a big jump for 100,000
Yeah,
people.
it is well explained in the application.
It is foot.
So the bottom line is they got 35 octax last year, and now they want 50.
Right.
I think we should at least give her.
I can agree with 100% without even starting giving it out of the 15 right now.
Okay?
The
Without
county at
going
least
through
get
our
her
rigmarole.
15 from us right now.
What's that, Kevin?
Take our 10 and raise it up to at least 15,000 right now.
No, we gotta raise it to 20.
25.
So she needs 15 more, right? We gave her 10 last year.
Yeah, but if each entity gives her 5.
No, well, that's not happening.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay.
Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
No, you understand what I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's not what's going to happen this time. She's here as, she has an event that's very successful.
All right, let's get her.
She's here as an entry on our
Yes, I do.
county list. You guys should approach this application as this is her application. Hello? Am I talking to myself?
I think so.
I'm over here. This is her application for octax. End of conversation. Whatever we give her is it.
Council Aaron.
Additional 15%.
Additional, or are we just adding that? Are you saying add the 15 to the
So we
10?
give her 15 instead of 10.
Yeah, raise it up 5, to start, to see where we end up. That's I would raise it. Obviously, she wants to attract 1,000 more people.
Well, here's the thing here's the thing you have to look at. She got 35,000 last year between the town, the village, and the combined. She's not getting that this year. She's here. She's on our list. This is it.
She's not applying to the village or the town?
Well, she can apply, but
You didn't give her, you aren't giving her anything?
That's not right.
That's what-
sure it is. It's a big event. She's on the list. It's the same as the Americade. It's the same as the Balloon Festival.
That's what we were trying to be clear, so that she's not gonna apply in the town and the village if she gets 50 from us.
Correct.
That,
Or whatever she gets from us.
50 is my total need.
but we're already giving the towns a
Right.
lot of money to give out to these, also plus to that. So, I'm stumped here. This is the first time I'm stumped. on this.
Really?
If the young lady's
The-
looking to make a total of 50,000 for her project, and we could assume the other towns will give the same amount out, all we need to do is give her that 15.
What we're trying to do is consolidate these. It's all octax money. What we're trying to do is consolidate them. This list is for the county. This is for our octax, to give our octax out. So it's a one application, one shot deal, makes her presentation, gets her octax money, and moves on. Edna?
Well, I have a question because she wants to bring 7,200 people and she's asking for 50,000. We looked over Americade who said they brought in 65,000 people and we gave them 50,000. So how do you give the two groups the same amount of money when one's bringing in 7,200 people, the other group is bringing in 65,000 people?
Well, there's other things to look at, Edna, but you make a really good point. There is no question about the fact that the Americade is the premier event here.
Right.
And it's easily tracked by sales tax, octax. You go and look at the week they're here, bingo, there's your number. So that's the high watermark to me. Now you need to look at events like hers, which is totally different. She brings a lot of people in. She has a strong 2 or 3 or 4 day weekend. You got to look at the time of year she brings them in, who's involved. She's got 100 some vendors.
Hey.
You know. Can you hear him?
Yeah, there was an arcade. That looks confusing.
Listen, guys. I know you sat down there for some reason, but I don't hear all that well. I can't hear anything you guys are saying, and neither can Molly. We need to be able to have a record here, so speak one at a time and speak up so we can hear you. Brad, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused here.
All right.
I'm just trying to follow. So, just for instance, the first one, Adirondack Festival LLC. And this is kind of going back to what Mike brought up earlier, is, so what you're saying is right now we're looking at $50,000 from the county alone.
Correct.
Then she can apply for the town,
Well, yes and no. She can apply, but
in the village.
the point. No, Brad. The point is to simplify this thing. She's going to come to the county, one application, one shot at Octax. She's not coming to the town. She's not coming to the village. She's not coming to the town and village. We want to do it here. This is a big event. It's one of our 10 events, county events. This is it.
So, I guess my question is, then why do we give the Ox money to the town and the villages and that, if the county's gonna be held responsible for it all?
The towns and the villages have other obligations, Brad.
And I heard that,
Yeah.
I did hear that, so, all right, I'm just a little confused.
No, they have other obligations. Money is allocated, and Mike.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. If I may just get something clarified. What you're saying is no town or village in Warren County that's getting occupancy tax is going to support any of these events that we're thinking about funding. So, Americade, they're going to get money only from the county. They're not going to get it from the village or the city or any other entity that gets Octax money.
Mike,
Is that what we're saying?
you asked some very pointed questions.
Help, he's coming after me.
What, are you gonna do an arm wrestling thing? What's going on?
You guys are warming me up.
What are we doing?
I was out of here.
Time out. Why don't we do the easy one first? Everybody agree we give Americade 50, that's our max?
That's right.
Yeah.
We all agree that.
Why don't we take care of Americade,
Yep.
and then we can go down to...
Tim, excuse me, is the town or village or any other entity giving Americade money?
I can't speak for that. No.
Let me answer this question, Kevin, and maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I value Americade a lot in the town of Lake George. They come to my town. I see the effect of Americade there. I have almost every year given them additional monies out of the town coffers. Usually it's for something last of the minute, they need something, or they need somebody to do something for them. Yeah, we give them additional money. Wouldn't you?
No, actually, Dennis, I think it should be at the county level. I think it's a big term play. We all agree that it's a great event.
Well, it is at the county level. They give them the 50,000. I'm just, you asked me a very pointed question and I'm answering it. If Christian doesn't come between now and Americade and say, hey, you know, I really could use a couple thousand for this, or I found out I could do this and I need $5,000, then he doesn't get any more. But if he comes and he has something that I feel is important to Americade and keeping Americade here and keeping Americade healthy, and if I have the money, I will give him more Octax money.
I'm not trying to dispute your ability to value any event. I'm just thinking that it should be at the county.
If you want him to come back to the county, if he has something he wanted to do instead of coming to me, Is that what you're saying?
I'm thinking that that's where it should be. I think we should reduce the allocation of some of the townships and villages that get this money and leave this up at the, reduce. I'm not saying eliminate. But
You're
we
treading
have
on
some
thin ice there.
major heads, right? So what we do is we end up double dipping, is what I'm saying, right?
No, it's all our tax money. What is the difference if he comes and asks me for $5,000 and I give it to him, or he comes and asks you for $5,000?
Excuse me, though,
Where's the
Dennis,
money come from?
Isn't it a Warren County occupancy tax?
Yes.
It's a Warren County tax.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
basically what we've done is we've allocated a bunch of money to the individual municipalities to make their own determination whether something's of value or not. I'm not disputing that the fact that there's some benefit there. What I'm saying is it's a big chunk of money. And maybe that's better allocated at the county so we can have a bigger, longer-term view of what needs to be done to promote tourism in Warren County.
I hate to
Can I
bust
answer
your...
that just real quick?
I got to get this off my chest.
All right.
I hate to bust your bubble. I am the supervisor of town of Lake George. I grew up in Lake George. I grew up with tourism. Are you telling me you know more about what the tourists need than I do?
No, Dennis, no, not at all. What I'm saying is...
Then what's your problem with
that-
giving me the money?
What I'm saying is it's Warren County tax. It should be done at this venue, right? And you're a member of this venue. You're the chairman of this committee, right? There's a reason for that. It's because you're experienced, right? And what we're doing is we're saying, let's take this money and let Dennis have his own cookie jar to play with, or Mr. Stroud, or our chairman, right? It's cookie jar money. You use that terminology. That's why I keep on bringing it up. And I'm just thinking, you know, I'm sorry for repeating myself. It's a big term play is what we're trying to do. Warren County occupancy tax. We're not making the long-term plays. If we are, we're not aware of them because it's done at your level, or the chairman's level, or some other level, and we're not seeing the big picture. So
I don't get it.
I think everybody understands where I'm going with this.
Well, no, not everybody.
Actually,
Kevin?
yep, you only, just to clarify for Mr. Wild, the law was written in 2004. Powers to be divvied the money up the way they did to get the law passed. So they gave all the towns $30,000. 2 years ago, when the Civic Center Coalition came in and wanted money to improve the Civic Center, they came up with another spending plan, which I supported, and they gave the towns $15,000 extra, and they gave the ones who generate most of it, they came up with I don't know if it's a formula or they picked a number out of the sky to say, give Bolton 60, give Queensbury 60, and give Lake George 150. That's fine for me, because all my money in the town of Warrensburg goes for promotion. You won't see any of the smaller events that we promote come here. The garage sale does, because it gets anywhere from 50 to 75,000 people there. It starts out, it's supposed to be a 2-day event, it's really 3 or 4 days. And it fills up all the hotel rooms in Lake George. I know that for a fact. You know, they've called around. And then Dennis's favorite Warrensburg bike rally, you know, he piggybacks on Americade. You know, he piggybacks on Americade, and it's grown a little bit. I think the numbers were down this year, but it's grown a little bit. So those are the only 2 people you'll ever see here. The rest of the money is going to come from the town of Warrensburg for all the other events. Christmas in Warrensburg, everything they do year-round, I fund it. Do I fund the Chamber of Commerce to help them with the garage sale? Absolutely. They come to me with expenses. The town of Warrensburg has taken on some of the duties that they used to pay for, and we're doing it through the town coffers now because we charge a permit fee. So I can't say, I think these are all valid, and I think, you know, we need to work out funding for all these, but, you know, you have to be careful. You know, the Chamber of Commerce is not for profit. Bike Rally probably does make money. You know, he probably makes money off of that. Yeah. But the rest of these are all, I think, valid thing. I have no problem just going. I'm not sure about 50,000, and I'm disappointed to hear that you know, the community won't give them any money this year.
And Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'm not trying to dispute any single event that happens, right? And I'm not trying to dispute the fact that many people know much more about tourism than I. But when this original allocation was set up years ago, it wasn't of the magnitude of money that we have today. It's done based on a percentage. So 25% of the occupancy tax is distributed to the towns. 25% of $4 million, probably more than $4 million by the time the year ends, is $1 million. That is discretionary by the individual entities that we have. And I'm just thinking that that's a big chunk of money that maybe there should be some more oversight of and more coordination with the county. Because I think we should be making the long-term plays for tourism, how important it is. We're talking about extending into the shoulder seasons. Individual towns are going to be able to have a bit of an impact on that, but the county should be able to have a bigger impact because of the way we want to think long-term.
Mike, half the OCTAX money stays with the county. You already have half of it. You have money there. You have discretionary funds in this budget we're talking about. So don't start talking about my money.
Thank you, Dennis. You're honest.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave the table. I'll be quiet.
You don't have to do either of those, even though you're not on the committee.
I'd like to make one comment. In the last couple of years, we've gone to just these top events, but we used to get over 50 applications for every little event that went on in the county, and that was one of the reasons that the incentive plan was put into place. So because probably 90% of the events were coming out of Lake George, and so that's rather than have the county running all these small events, more money was given to Lake George to fund those events.
That's a very good point, Lisa. We used to sit in the big room and do 50 applications or more, and the whole board would sit in on them. And my problem with it was people would come in for events for Johnsburg or Luzerne, and I'd have no idea what value they were to the county. So based on, and I know a lot of other people didn't, those things went on forever. And that's the exact reason why we pared this list down to currently 10, sent the rest of them back to the towns, and that's when they got the additional money. All those events disappeared off our list and went back there to the towns. Okay. Let's get back to Sasha. She got $35,000 last year in OCTAX. So if you want to keep her at her current level, it's 35. If you want to bump her up, that's your prerogative. Somebody want to make a motion? Going to be a long day. Got 9 more to go. Gene?
It's very confusing. I mean, I don't disagree with she needs 50 grand. I mean, I really don't. But the way you're doing it, now if we give her 50 and she goes back and gets another 20 from, you say no, but you never know what Queensbury might do or...
Gene, I told you no. No's no.
You're just too close.
But
You
then
need to decide how much she needs to get from our
Every money
OCTAX.
that the 4 big towns get, then you're going to use it for something else instead of helping that. So there's that extra money that she was getting last year out of Lake George Village, Queensbury, whatever the case may be, your town still have that in your coffer to give to somebody else.
We still get the same amount of OCTAX. I do have it. Most of the OCTAX is committed. We have 150,000 in the joint. We regularly get over $300,000 in requests. Some of them are really good requests.
All right, so then, I mean, I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass, but...
No, you have to look at it and tell
The
it.
way I'm looking at, if we get started, and I'm not picking on, I mean, that's why we like to go and quiet where we can talk.
Right.
But I'm frank, I don't mind her getting 50,000, but she's also a business that makes money on this event. Maybe not a lot, but now if Medicaid, we give 50,000 because that's our cap, and he goes to the towns for more money and they say no, but the towns say her because it's in, they like that, it's a tough situation you're putting us in, the way we're doing.
I think where the confusion is, Dennis, is it's
Help
an
me out.
expansion of the expenditure without, we're not, it's a changing of the plan in a way. It's increasing the expenditure without us knowing what the impact is. It's staying the same in the towns, so this particular event is moving from support of the towns to the support of the county in a bigger way, so we're obligating more funds without knowing what the end result is, which is kind of hard to understand. It's not fair to the applicants right now because I don't think we have, I'm going to speak for myself, I don't think I have enough information to understand what we're doing. If we're going to expand the expenditure, I'm okay at knowing what we're expanding it by. But I feel like I'm a little blind right now.
Not at all. We have 10
You see it clear, I see mud.
we have 10 events here that we're going to fund.
How much money do we have?
We have 193,000. You've got $306,000 in requests.
So
you got 2/3 of what you need.
right.
If you want, it's very simple. If you want to fund her at the level she was at last year, it's $35,000.
I say keep them all the same.
And if you want to bump her up some amount, then go from the 35. But if you want to sustain what she has here, it's $35,000.
I think that's what we're saying is we're
shifting the cost.
We're shifting the cost.
All we're doing is shifting the cost from some of the towns to the county. It's as simple as that.
But the towns aren't reduced.
We're not shifting the revenue, we're shifting the cost.
No,
Okay.
Doug, you
Yes.
got it backwards.
Well, okay, I may have it backwards, but we're shifting the responsibility of some of the towns. They still get their money, but what they were paying for, they don't have to pay for that any longer or less, and the county will pay for that. That's as simple as I can say it.
Well, let me explain to you exactly what happened here, Doug. We took 50
I think
applicants.
everybody agrees with me, Dennis.
Excuse me?
I mean, that's what we're doing.
Are you done?
Are you?
No, I'm not done. You interrupted me. We took 50-some applications we had here, and we've pared it down to 10. 50 to 10. The 40 went out to all the towns, including mine. So we are shifting this. You shifted 40 to me, and you graciously gave me more money to cover those 40. In the meantime, we've come up with a list of 10 premier events in the county that are now your obligation, not 50, 10. They're now your obligation to fund these events. Sasha's one of them. She has one of the premier events. She got $35,000 last year. She's asked for 50. Now it's up to you to decide how much she gets. Forget about how much money I get. Forget about the things I fund. This is in front of you. It's your decision. It's her only shot. Mike?
Dennis, I support all 10.
Excuse me?
I support all 10.
Great.
Being
I'm
great-
going to write
great
that down,
event.
only you're not on the committee, but...
I'm not on the committee.
You're all right. I'm glad we got moral support. Peter?
3 people have showed up today to effectively argue for their case. Those are the people that should be funded today. I wouldn't fund anyone else. I would give each 3 parties $50,000. We call it a day. These are good events. They are proven events. And let's move on. We're taking too much time here, guys.
We're taking a lot of time. No.
I agree with new, but it's not a requirement, so we can't penalize people for didn't fill it. Okay, it's not.
The problem with...
We don't say that when you put in your application, you have to be at this meeting to tell us what it's like, and so I don't want to put words on it.
These are three established good events. I mean, I argue about $5,000 to $10,000 for each event. I think we're just taking a lot of time. They're good events. They're proven.
Peter has a point here. I think we need to get on with this. You guys need to make a decision. $35,000 is 2/3 of what she's asked for. We've had applications for a third more than we have. So start at 35 and decide what you want to give her. Now.
Nobody? I'll make a motion. To move her-
Excellent.
Let's give Sasha 40,000. If she
Okay.
can pick up another 10 in the town, that's all right. Let's get moving.
It's not happening, Sasha.
I'll second that.
40,000, Matt seconded it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Congratulations.
We
Go
gotta
faster.
get-
All right, second,
Gotta get forward.
Adirondack Hot Air Balloon Festival.
We got 40,000 last year. Let's
Give it to Ricky,
40,000.
right.
Okay,
Yep.
40's on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Adirondack Sports Complex. We got,
Last year, let's give them 40 for next
Yep.
year.
all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Adirondack Rods and Customs.
That's the only one I would say is stay with the 25.
Do I have a second to that?
Agree.
Matt? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Americade.
50.
Everybody agrees at 50?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Warren County Safe Quality Biking.
I'd like to move them up to 5,000. I don't
Okay.
agree to 16. I'd like to move them up a little. They're coming along, they're doing a good job. They put out a good brochure, but I don't think it's 16 is the number, but I'd like to see maybe 5.
Second?
I do.
Edna?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Warrensburg Bike Rally.
This is the one I have a problem with because they only gave me 5 last year. I'd like to see them get at least 20 this year. 25.
No way.
That's my,
Let me tell you something about Warrensburg biking.
That's 10.
Be careful what you say, Dennis, because you'll get my Irish up.
Yeah, well, we're gonna go out of here.
It's just
I'm
business.
I don't, first off, I'm gonna say I don't have a problem with the Warrensburg Bike Rally. There's a place for it, and they do generate some income from Warrensburg. But I'll tell you, the numbers that he comes out with are outrageous.
I totally agree with that.
They're outrageous. He's at 5,000.
Go to 10.
I'd keep him there.
I like 20.
I go to 20. I'd support 20. I make a motion, we go to 20.
I'll second it.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, have you looked at his application?
Are we gonna call the vote?
I am chairing this committee, Mr. Beatty, if you don't mind.
80.
So we got a motion, we have a second on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Unbelievable. This is why we don't have more of these projects at the county. Warrensburg Chamber, this is the garage sale. Got 20 last year, they asked for 25.
I'll make that motion.
Gene, second. Matt, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
What are we up to?
Winter Carnival.
No.
Oh.
Money-wise.
Last one, staying at 20?
245,000.
245.
25,000.
Okay.
We're up to 245.
Lake George Winter Carnival.
It's a week-long event, it brings a lot of people in.
Well, it's 5
4 weekends, 5 weekends.
5 weekends. They start the last weekend in January and they go,
Why didn't we fund them last year? Do you remember, please?
well, they're another one of the ones. They go to the town, they go to the village, they go to the joint, and I decided, you know, they've been here 57 years or something, to bring them down here and just have a one-shot deal and have it over
I'll make a
with.
motion to fund this 35.
Fund the 35?
Yeah, that's it. They're a week-long event. I'll make a motion 35.
Second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Beatty? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Glens Falls Amateur Athletic Camp, that's the Federation Basketball, looking for $20,000.
Well, for the Federation.
That's
Matt, make that motion, a second?
You're making it for 20, Matt? Does this stay with the Glens Falls group, right?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
What'd you get?
300,000, Lisa?
Yeah, that 300,000 even. Up to 300,000 even.
So we're a little over.
So we have $300,000 you gave away, we have $193,000.
Gave away 300?
Yep.
That 165 go pretty stout then, so we had extra. We said.
Are we paying for that?
We're not.
We got 75 in the...
Well, we haven't passed this resolution yet.
No.
Be nice to me now.
Well, you abstained, I appreciate that. I can't believe they gave him $20,000.
We have 268,
I
right, Lisa?
abstained because I'm trying to be fair.
We have 268,000.
So where are we?
268,000.
I can't.
So we're 32,000 over.
32.
Well, then take 10 away from that one. That'd be 22.
So your effort here is to
Well, the bottom line is
trim
this
off.
adds up to 268, that's what the 75,
32,000.
I'm gonna add
32,000,
75,000
and then Gene doesn't have
contingency,
the
268, we're short 20, we're short
Discretionary fund.
32,000.
You did?
We're on track to do 162,000 additional dollars than we're
Yeah.
That was
did last year.
75,000. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I would,
here,
yeah, sorry.
here's the,
Hold on, one minute. Discussion here. We'd like to knock 10 off that bike route.
okay, that helps.
Because he does piggyback on it. I mean, a lot of the
He
people
does.
who come here come because of Americade brings them.
I'll support that.
So,
Got 20
I wanna be fair. All of them. I hope the rest of you will cut back to your event. I would say 10.
Kevin, this is what, after all these years, this is what happens. Each year they want more and more and more.
All right, here's the deal. If you want to fund these 10 at the present level, we don't have enough money. If you want to use the discretionary 75,000 that I had set aside for things down the road, we can put that in there. We still need to trim $22,000 off
Well, you
this.
just trimmed 10, didn't you?
Yep.
Right.
Up to 32.
We were 32 over.
Right.
We have 268,000 including the discretionary fund. We have 193 plus 75.
I've sacrificed two events that I'll sacrifice. I won't sacrifice the Chamber of Commerce because they're not for profit.
Short 22K.
We take 10, okay, so we took 10 away from the bike then.
Yeah.
We took 10 away from the bike,
When Ed goes back, he'll be there.
so we're short 22,000.
Correct.
What if we take 10 away from that athletic champion thing, because they didn't get anything last year?
I would think we could take 5 away from the Federation tournament. And then down to 15. I'm just suggesting, I mean, is everybody okay with that?
I'm definitely okay.
We got the New York, we got the public high school coming back next year.
Right, so, okay, that's good.
And I work it. Take it from there. Take it from what I've circled.
Well, we could.
Then it's
we
take
have-
5 from the Federation.
Right.
They could,
Puts it down to 17.
yeah, they're not for profit.
So what are we short now?
17,000.
17,000.
17 short.
We can use a discretionary.
We already did.
We did use it?
Yes. That's already bought, that's already been used, Pat.
Went through the 75 grand just...
So we're still 17
If
short.
you do the World Festival, they'll go to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
No, they already have.
You know what?
I've been to that.
Hey, I'm
That brings lots of people.
I suggest
They don't have to move that, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to act
Yeah.
on it.
What would happen, Mr. Chairman? What would happen if,
They quit?
what would happen if we, knock down this little funding, like 5,000 per town? Would that really kill each town?
I did.
In addition to the 25.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. I don't know about you, man.
I don't care what they take from me, I'm not...
I wouldn't have a
You mean
problem.
I'll...
No, the three that get the
Oh,
150, the 60, and the 60. What if we took 5 away from each one of them?
Put it back in the
Where
discretionary.
would we be, Dennis?
We're 14 short right now, 17 short.
That would be 2,000 short.
Took
And then we
5
could
from
do-
each town, we're 2,000 short, correct.
No, 5 from the big 3.
The big three.
That's what I'm saying, 5 from the big 3, we're 2,000 short. We're 17 short currently, take 5 from the 3, that puts us at 2,000.
We can take it out of the reserve, but if we do that, we'll need a resolution to move the money out of the reserve.
No, I'm asking you, what, could the big 3 live with 5,000 less? An amendment. If we can't, then we need to do something different.
Well, I'm only one of the 3, but...
Well, I'm asking you as chairman, 5,000, because we did shift money from, the one, event that, that you gave 10,000 to, right?
Mhm.
Didn't we shift that for the wine festival? You and the village.
Right.
You each gave, so there's 20,000 we shifted to the county, away from this 150,000. So we took it, is this doable or not?
I'm listening to you. Is that what you want to do?
Then we take 500 from each town. That makes up your 2,000.
5,000.
Oh, we could do that.
So you want to take 5?
Oh, I don't, I'm just being funny.
So where are you coming up with the other 2?
2,000 short.
You going to take that out with the additional that the towns get?
No, the city can contribute.
Brad?
Yeah, didn't, earlier in the year, we actually gave more money to each one of the towns? The villages, didn't we?
Last year,
Last
2015.
year, all right.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay, so... I guess-
That's what Kevin's talking about.
All right, so we picked these 10, and they're great, but they're all big, heavy hitters.
Correct.
You know, a lot of them are the most heavy hitters, so, so we picked those 10 for the county, so, I mean, we can't pull a little back from everybody?
Yep.
Make up our difference?
We can. Hang on just 1 second.
I don't think you can for the small towns. I honestly believe the ones that get the 30 plus 15.
Pretty much we did.
Yeah, don't touch them.
I don't think we can touch those smaller communities. I mean, but if we took some money away from what the village or the town maybe asked for, and I don't know about Golden Landing or Queensbury. I don't know if Queensbury contributes to any of these. I don't know. I haven't seen the reports. They do.
Slim Festival.
Yeah, we're short 17,000. We take $5,666 from each of the top 3, Lake George, Bolton, and Queensbury. We're pots right, boom, end of subject.
You have no reserve though.
I know we don't, but we're already going on that premise. All right.
Is everybody comfortable with that?
You
Is that a
comfortable with
motion?
that, Matt? You comfortable with that?
Yep.
We take $5,666 from Queensbury, Bolton, and Lake George. Now, pots right, we've used up to 75,000 contingency. We're now at
Done.
balance.
Done for the year.
Done.
Is there a second to that? Edna?
Yep.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Done. Do we need anything else?
No, we can't pass this resolution until it's amended.
Right.
If you want to do that.
We're expanding our obligations. Big time.
Yeah. I know.
No, they're not gonna. We've extended our obligations.
It'll pay for itself.
I didn't answer my copy.
One motion to approve them all, that way.
Okay.
Make it clear for the board.
I'm going to go down and read what I think we're going to give each event,
Somebody will send it out, okay.
and then once I get through it, we'll make that a motion and pass it. We got Adirondack Festival at 35,000?
That's at 40.
40,000. See, that's why we did this.
Right.
Okay. At Loon Festival, we got at 40.
Correct? Yes.
Adirondack Sports, 40.
Correct?
Albany Hot Rods, 25.
Correct?
Warren County Safe Biking, we have at... Oh, Americade is 50.
Correct?
Safe Biking is 5,000.
Correct?
Warrensburg Bike Rally is 10.
Correct?
Warrensburg Chambers, 20.
25.
Oh, I'm sorry, 25. Yep, that's what I had. Winter Carnival is 35?
35 for the winter carnival.
Okay. And the Basketball Federation is 15,000.
Right.
Everybody good with that? You got that? Somebody want to make a motion to pass that? Kevin, second? Doug? Any further discussion?
Yeah,
Yes.
because we already moved on it as is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we need a motion. Do we need a motion?
I think we do because we
We
already
need a
passed
motion
it.
to cut the allocations for the 3 municipalities.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to get the resolution, this resolution on the floor, right?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to get it so we can have discussion. Somebody else-
Okay. Somebody second? Matt? Go.
All right. Are we going to pass this resolution minus the 5,666 for Lake George, Bolton, and Queensbury? Is that
Yes.
game plan to keep the rest of it?
Right.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so it's 1, 4,
I'll amend my
4,
motion.
3, 3, is that right? Do I have to get my phone out? 3, 3, 3, 5, 5. So it'd be 144,334 for Lake George,
54,334 for Bolton,
334,
54,334 for Bolton, and would also be for Queensbury.
okay. And the county event funding level is now 0?
Yes.
Everybody got it?
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna make it,
No. Okay, that's going to be the 285,000 in fund,
Oh, okay.
plus the special event funding, or the discretionary funding is
0.
wiped out.
Okay. And you thought this was going to be easy.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody got it?
Yes.
The resolution's just for what you know.
Does anybody need me to read that through again, or is everybody comfortable?
We're comfortable.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
I think that's all.
But not at the expense of, I think the rest of my team.
That's how the sausage is made, but I think it's a good process.
Gina, did you want to speak to the board committee?
Privilege number 4.
Yes.
Consent agenda. Just 2 things in very briefly that I distributed. So our fiscal year, the Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and CDD, our fiscal year is October 1st through September 30th. So our annual report, that's what this is reflected. And in here you have the 2017-2018 outcomes of specifically the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I wanted to bring that point. And to Supervisor Bramer's point, we have provided monthly all of the outcomes that show our return on investment in terms of leads generated, bookings, lost business, and pending business. So this actually shows you the last year that we've done. The other piece that you have is just this past month, October board report, specifically for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So we will work with County Executive Ryan Moore, as well as Joanne Conley, in terms of how we want the reporting moving forward starting in January. We've been back and forth. We've added some things that various supervisors want us to do in terms of reporting. We're happy to do that. We have a new software tool that we just went live with a week and a half ago that incorporates Warren County Tourism and the CED so that we can document all of our efforts, both from a group tour as well as referral, and what the economic impacts of those are. And we'll be able to produce a report that says, oh, we sent 20 leads to the Surfside and they responded to 10 and gained this many room nights. And we'll be able to also track our referrals to restaurants and other things with this new tool that will keep us all accountable to each and every one of you as you request that information. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Gina.
Dennis, I hate to bring this up.
Excuse me?
May I have a quote just
Yeah.
Are we going to change this scoring in our application form before next year? Do something different?
I would like to. I would like to start at the next meeting. That's why I said when we go through these applications, keep in mind that, yeah. So we'll look at it starting the next meeting if you'd put that on the agenda. So everybody be prepared, do your homework. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Matt, Doug, all in favor? Done deal. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice Turkey Day.